In the beginning, when the world was new and the animals were just beginning to work for man, there was a camel, and he lived in the middle of a howling desert because he did not want to work. He ate sticks and thorns and prickles, and when anybody spoke to him, he said, just hmm, and no more. Presently, the horse came to him on Monday morning with a saddle on his back and said, Camel, oh camel, come out and trot like the rest of us. Hump, said the camel. And the horse went away and told the man. Presently, the dog came to him with a stick in his mouth and said, Camel, oh camel, come and fetch and carry like the rest of us. Hump, said the camel. And the dog went away and told the man. Presently, the ox came to him with the yoke on his neck and said, Camel, oh camel, come and plough like the rest of us. Hump, said the camel. And the ox went away and told the man. At the end of the day, the man called the horse and the dog and the ox together and said, Three, oh three, I am very sorry for you. But that hump thing in the desert can't work, or he would have been here by now. So I am going to leave him alone, and you must work double time to make up for it. That made the three very angry, and they held a panchayat on the edge of the desert. And the camel came chewing cud and laughed at them. Then he said, Hump, and went away. Presently there came along a genie who was in charge of all deserts, rolling in a cloud of dust. Genie of all deserts, said the horse, is it right for anyone to be idle? Certainly not, said the genie. Well, said the horse, there's a thing in the middle of your desert with a long neck and long legs, and he hasn't done a stroke of work since Monday morning. He won't trot. Phew, said the genie, whistling. That's my camel. What does he say about it? He says hum, and he won't plough, said the ox. Very good, said the genie. I'll hump him if you will kindly wait a minute. The genie rolled himself up in his dust cloak and took a walk across the desert and found the camel looking at his own reflection in a pool of water. My friend, said the genie, what's this I hear of your doing no work? The genie sat down with his chin in his hand, while the camel looked at his own reflection in the pool of water. You've given the three extra work ever since Monday morning, all on account of your idleness, said the genie, and he went on thinking with his chin in his hand. Hump, said the camel. I shouldn't say that again if I were you, said the genie. You might say it once too often. I want you to work. And the camel said, Hump, again. But no sooner had he said it than he saw his back, that he was so proud of, puffing up and puffing up into a great big hump. Do you see that? Said the genie. That's your very own hump that you've brought upon your very own self by not working. Today is Thursday, and you've done no work since Monday, when the work began. Now you are going to work. How can I, said the camel, with this hump on my back? That has a purpose, said the genie. All because you missed those 3 days. You will be able to work now for 3 days without eating, because you can live on your hump. And don't you ever say, I never did anything for you. Come out of the desert and go to the tree and behave. And the camel went away to join the three. And from that day to this, the camel always wears a hump. We call it hump now, not to hurt his feelings. But he has never yet caught up with the 3 days that he missed at the beginning of the world, and he has never yet learned how to behave. The name of the chapter is How the Camel Got His Hump. It's a lovely story written by Rudyard Kipling. He has written a lot of stories for children, and one such story is How the Camel Got His Hump. So he's talking about a time which is the beginning of the earth, and there are some humans and there are some animals like the horse, the dog, the bullock, the sheep, the camel, the donkey. All these animals live together on the earth, and all of them have been given their part of job, work that they have to do through the day. Now the horse is doing his work, the donkey is doing his work, the dog and the cat are doing their work. But there is one animal that is not doing work at all. That's the camel. The camel goes and sits in the middle of the desert so that nobody will disturb him. Nobody will come and tell him whatever work he has to do. He's very lazy. So the horse goes and approaches the camel. He tells the camel, see, I am doing my share of the work. I am carrying load whole day long because the humans are giving me the work and I am doing it. Why aren't you doing it? And in reply, all that the camel has to say is, So the horse does not like his reply. He goes away. Then the dog approaches the camel and he tells him, when the humans throw the frisbee, I go and catch it. When they throw the stick, I go and fetch it. So I am doing my job that has been allotted to me. Why aren't you doing your work? And again, all the camel has to say is, Now the dog does not like what he says and he goes away from there. Then the ox tries to explain to the camel that all the animals are doing their job. You should also do your job. I wear a yoke around my neck and I carry the load. This is the work that has been given to me and I am doing it all day long. You should also do your work. And again the camel says, Now these three animals get very upset with the camel's reply. So they think they should go to the human. They go to the human and they complain about the camel. That this camel is sitting in the middle of the desert so that nobody can disturb him. He is avoiding all his share of the work, not doing any work throughout the day. They tell the human that each one of us, one by one, has approached the camel and tried to explain to him that he should do his job. And yet the camel is not doing it. And more so, in reply, all he has to say is, So the animals convey their regret to the human that the camel is behaving like this. Now what the human does, he calls the jinn. It's a supernatural being that has powers. So he calls the jinn and he tells them to have a meeting with the animals so that the problem can be solved. Now the jinn hears all that the animals have to say, and the jinn recognizes that this animal is the camel, which is sitting in the desert and avoiding all the work. So the jinn reassures the animals that he will take care of the camel and he will do whatever is needful. And he will also take care of the reply that the camel gives every time. Now the jinn rides on the clouds and he goes to the camel. As usual, the camel is lying down in the desert, doing his own thing, not doing any work. So the jinn approaches him. He gives him a chance and he tells him that you should do your work because all the other animals are doing their work. Now at this point of time, the camel was drinking water from the pond in the desert, the oasis that is formed there. And he could see his reflection in the water. And the moment the jinn said you should do your work, and the camel said, at that very moment, a started growing on his back. And that is what we call the hump. And that is how the camel got its hump. So this is the story that Rudyard Kipling is telling us. It's a very cute story. Of course, it's not true. It's a fiction. It's more like a fairy tale. It is meant to be enjoyed. The animals are born how they are born. They have evolved to what they are. They have their features which they adapt according to the surroundings in which they live. We have learnt in science adaptations. But these are fictitious stories that authors write to enchant the children. The moral in this story is that we should not avoid our work. Otherwise, our body will develop those things just like it adjusts to the environment around it, and it will have a healthy growth if we are doing our share of the work. If we don't do that, then our body will adjust to that not doing the work and grow some additional parts which we may not like. So that is the moral of the story. The author is trying to tell us that we should do our job that is allotted to us. Now that the explanation is over, we will look into the word meanings of the lesson. Now that we finished with the explanation of the chapter, let us look at the new words that we have come across in this chapter. The first word is jinn. It is pronounced as jinn. The D is silent. Some also say genie is also correct. Now the meaning of the word jinn is a spirit that has strange powers. It is a special organism which has special powers. It has some superpowers. And it's a fictitious character. It is not real. The next phrase that we have come across, I'll hump him. I'll hump him. The genie says this to the horse when he's talking about the camel. Now what it means is, I'll set him right. I will deal with him in an appropriate manner. So-called I will punish him or I will reward him. I will hump him. I will deal with him in an appropriate manner. According to his actions, I will take my reaction. The third word is remonstrated. Remonstrated means protested, complained. This word is used when the three animals are talking to the genie and they are telling him that the camel is not doing his work. So they remonstrated, they protested, they complained against the camel. These are the three new words that we have come across in this chapter. Now let us look at the question answers. The first question is, what tasks, what jobs, what work, what tasks do you think were assigned to the dog and the ox? So the dog says to the camel that I go and fetch the stick. So this is the job that has been assigned to the dog. So in our answer we can say the task that was assigned to the dog was to play with the humans. We can write in our own words. We will not say that the job assigned to the dog was to fetch the stick, because that is not a job. Fetching a stick is not the job. The job is playing with humans. Alright, that's what we do with dogs. And the job that was assigned to the ox had to wear a yoke around his neck and carry load. That is what an ox does. An ox is a cow, a bullock. So what job do? They carry load. So the task assigned to the ox was to wear a yoke around its neck and carry the load. So you will answer this in 2 points, in 2 paragraphs, not points. Points we write in science and civics and physics, but not in English. In English we write it in the form of paragraphs. So you can take a new line, but not point number 1, point number 2. Now let us look at question number 2. Why did the camel live in the middle of the desert? The question is that the rest of the animals were not in the desert. They were doing their work. So they were near the humans. They were in the farms. They were in the fields. Why was the camel living in the desert? The answer is the camel chose to live in the middle of the desert because he wanted to avoid all work and he did not want anyone to come and disturb him and assign any work to him. So he lived in a cut-off place so that nobody is able to give him any work. Third question. What made the dog, the horse and the ox very angry? Now there are 2 points to this answer. The first point is that the camel was not doing any work. They were doing all their work. So that's why these 3 animals were very upset. Now also they were very upset because when they went to talk to the camel and explain to him that they are doing their job, he should also do his share of work, he answered only with a single word, which is quite rude. So both these points should come in your answer in the form of a paragraph. The last question is, how did the jinn know that the horse was complaining against the camel? Because when the horse is talking to the jinn, he says that that animal who is staying in the desert, who has very long legs and a long neck. So because the horse described the animal in the way that lives in the desert, has very long legs and has a long neck, that is how the jinn came to know that the horse is complaining against the camel. Let us look at the next 4 set of questions. Now moving on to the next set of 4 questions, they are asking us, the camel was looking at his own reflection in the pool. What does it suggest to you about the camel? So the situation where the genie has gone to meet the camel, they told us that the camel was not doing any work at that time. He was looking at his reflection in the pool. So that is this sentence, the camel was looking at his own reflection in the pool. What does it tell you about the camel's nature? This is the question. So when are you standing, doing nothing, looking in the mirror and just wasting your time? So what it tells us about the camel is that he was a complete lazy being, doing no work. He was not busy at all. When you are busy, you don't have time to look at your own reflection and just do nothing else. So this sentence is suggesting to us that the camel was truly a very lazy animal who did not believe in doing any work. He wasted his entire day by doing useless things like looking at his own reflection in the water, in the pool. The second question is, the camel said, repeatedly. How did it affect him? Now this answer has 2 points to it. First, because he said repeatedly to all the animals, it was a very rude reply. And the animals felt very bad, and that is why they complained against him to the humans and eventually to the genie. Also, this kind of a reply affected him in the way that the genie thought it appropriate to give him a hump. So this reply affected him in 2 ways. Firstly, he was rude to the animals and the animals wanted to complain. And secondly, because of this repeated reply, the genie thought that it would be appropriate to give him a hump on his body. Question number 3. What, according to the genie, was the use of the hump? Now, towards the end of the chapter, the genie is saying that this hump on your body is not like a punishment. It is not going to harm you in any way. Since you have wasted 3 days, because the animals had gone and complained to the humans on the third day of no work being done by the camel. So since you have wasted 3 days, I am giving you this hump which will store fats in your body so that you can work. You can work for 3 days without eating anything. Now technically it is not correct. It's not as if the camel can stay away from food and water for 3 days because it has fats in his hump which is stored. Not like that. But for the sake of the story, the genie tells the camel that since you have wasted 3 days, I am giving you a hump which will allow you to work for 3 days without needing any food or water. So, according to the genie, the use of the hump was that it would enable the camel to do work without needing to eat food. The fourth question is, he has never yet learned to behave. In light of this, keeping this in mind, in light of this, what is the writer's opinion of the camel? Now the writer is ending his story with, he has never yet learned to behave. He is talking about the camel. The camel, the author is saying that the camel has as yet also not learned to behave. Because if you compare a camel to say a dog or an ox or a horse or even a donkey, a mule, a zebra, the camel is a very sluggish animal. It takes a long time to get up. It takes long time to sit down. It generally walks very slowly. Yes, it is capable of running, but you will hardly ever see a camel running. So he has still not learned how to behave. And also the second part is that the camel itself till today makes this kind of a noise. The sound made by the camel is still the kind of. And the author is telling us towards the end of the story that the camel has still not been able to make up for those 3 days that he has lost. Because if you have wasted 3 days, you can work and work and work the next day, but you can never make up for those 3 days that you have lost. The 3 days of absolutely no work cannot be made up later, and that is the moral of the story itself. The author is telling us that if you completely waste, if some students are thinking I will not study throughout the year at all and only 2 weeks before the exam I will sit and study everything, that is not possible. Time that is lost, that is wasted, you cannot make up for it. So the answer to this question is that in light of this sentence, the writer's opinion of the camel is that the camel has still not learnt his lesson and he till today is misbehaving, making the sound and wasting his time doing his work very slowly. Now they have continued with some more questions which are more analytical. The answers to these questions are not directly there in the lesson, but having read the lesson, having understood the lesson, you should be able to answer these questions. The first question is, can this story be factually true? So factually true means, can it be scientifically true? Is it really possible? So the answer is no. This story cannot be factually true for reasons being, the genie is not a fact, it's a fiction. There are no genies in the world, there are no fairies in the world. So that's why this story cannot be factually true. Secondly, all animals as we know them have evolved. They have adapted to their surroundings and therefore developed certain features. They are not punished or rewarded and that's why they have a hump or they have a tail. These are all fictitious stories. So can this story be factually true? No. Now when a question like this is asked, if it is a simply 1 mark question, then simply stating the answer to the point that no, this story cannot be factually true is sufficient. But if it's a 2 mark or 3 mark question, you have to go ahead and explain what is the reason for your selection, whether it is yes, then why it is yes, if it is no, then why it is no. It should come in a separate paragraph after writing the first sentence, no, followed by the question itself, no, this story cannot be factually true. Then in the second paragraph, you go ahead and explain why it cannot be factually true. First, the genie not being real, and secondly, animals have evolved. They do not have features because they are punished or rewarded. The second question is more like a choose the correct option. Okay. What according to you is the story about? What is the story talking about? They have given us 4 alternatives. How the world began, why everyone should do his or her share of work seriously, how animals are important to humans, how the camel got his hump. Now, if you notice the 4 options that have been given, in younger classes, smaller classes, what used to happen is that only one option used to be correct. The other 3 options would be such that they are absolutely wrong. So you knew exactly what is your correct answer. Now, as you go to higher classes, what happens is the story is talking about the world began and it is only 3 days since the earth has evolved and the animals are doing. So it is talking about the beginning of the world. Then why everyone should do his or her share of work seriously, the camel is punished. It is talking about this also. How animals are important to humans because each animal is doing his share of work for the humans. The story is talking about this also. And of course, how the camel got his hump. The story is talking about this also. But what according to you is the story about? It is talking about all these 4 things. All these 4 points have featured in the story. But what is basically the story about? The title itself is suggesting that actually the story is about how the camel got his hump. So we will go with the 4th alternative.